So the 35 or so of you who actually watch these videos know that Mom's had her Astro van since the summer of 2004. So this thing's been all over the country. She's put a bunch of miles on it. It's a great vehicle, and we did a bunch of stuff on it this summer and last winter. And today I drove Mom into town. The battery light comes on. I'm looking down at the amp meter. We're not charging, so something bad's wrong. So and I'm filming this later, but we're going to get into this, get the alternator off, get it tested, see what's going on, get her back on the road. So stay tuned. Charging. It's draining. It's only getting 11.8. It's actually pulling on the battery. First and foremost, before you get down to the alternator, unhook your battery. Don't forget to do this. Oh, you want to try to pull the whole thing? Yes, it is.
I'll have to take this one. Another cable right
I think I can work around this. Okay. A couple things I wanted to show that, because you can't really see it in the video here real well. You can't really see it in this real well. You see that bolt right there? There are 3 bolts along the top of this fan shroud. And then there are 2 more bolts on either side down alongside the fan shroud. And then bolt down there. And then if you can see them, work your way around that radiator hose. Let's see the other bolt down there. Now they repeat on the other side. And then we removed this air box, which you just saw. We removed this. It's probably like a mass airflow sensor, I believe is what this is. We removed this. We unplugged this. Took this hose off, this air intake hose off back there. Basically removed this whole air intake in order to get access down to pull the alternator out. And you'll see in here where you won't see very clearly where I unbolted that, took the fasteners off the back and pulled it out up and around the clutch fan. I expect to be doing this today. Gotten that man the battery lights on. I'm like, oh no. I guess clean that off. We're going that side. with the removal of the shroud, the air intake, that air intake sensor, and everything off there, and that connection tube, you can see where the alternator is buried on these. And like the other people have said, that's 2 bolts.
One right here.
Yeah. And one over there. And then a 10mm on the back.
But the fan gotta come off.
The kid I saw wiggle it past. And that's what I'm going to try to do. Because that flexes. So I'm going to try to wiggle it up and wiggle it past. And the fan shroud conveniently is in 2 parts. So we just took the top half off. Seems funny that every time we're trying to make a video, someone in this town has to bring out their helicopter lawnmower and mow. Just like that. It's still working. Voice sounds okay, so we're alright. That's off. No, I don't. I'll get that.
Yeah, you got bad knee.
Oh,
I
so
don't
do
have
you.
a bad knee. No, I don't.
You got bad everything.
Yeah. Oh boy, stick.
Got it from the side?
Nope. Yeah, maybe. The arm's long enough.
I see it.
I got this bar here. Hang on a minute. I'll knock it to you.
Okay. I might be able to knock it out to you. Hold on, Dad.
Okay, we got it. I make good video.
Second?
Yes, I don't.
Yeah.
There you go. That one.
He's coming.
That hose ain't helping.
No, I don't know. There's nothing to do about it.
What's that? What?
Alright, switch sides. Okay. Hold this up here. Push that up. Now I'm gonna turn it back on this thing. Alrighty.
Should we get that nut?
Okay, I don't know if you guys can see this on the back. There's a 10mm bolt goes there, and then there's a clip right there. We wiggled it past the fan to pull it out, so we didn't. Definitely got some bearing noise in it. Hear that?
No. I'm a deep.
You got a lot of factory work. Listen to this. Got a squeak. I'd say at least a rear bearing shot in there. So we were able to squeeze that sucker out past everything in here. I do have to relocate that other wire. There it is. There are 2 wires that go to the alternator in there. Lifting the radiator hose up out of the way, coming up and over the fan. Okay, that idler doesn't sound too bad. All right, let's go get a new one. And we're AutoZone bound. Because So obviously this thing's a problem, so let's see what we can come up with. We'll let them test it, but I know it's hosed.
You want to put the other nut on, or you want to
You just use this one.
you need that?
Well, Dad and I have returned from AutoZone with the $199 domestic Reman special alternator, and ours definitely tested bad, so there's pretty much no choice on this one. So we're gonna go ahead and get her hooked up and see if we can get her back in. Show you guys real quick what it looks like. So, alternator's here. Home is down here. First, I gotta hook it up. Yeah.
I need to hold that hose for you, Bo.
When we slip her back in, but I gotta hook her up.
Right now. Okay. Put that plug in or whatever.
Yep. I'm trying.
You want me to hold it down here? Okay.
You can see the alternator back in her cradle, hopefully lined up. 2 bolts go into the bottom down here. Not quite there yet. Gotta do a little adjusticating on that.
Did you get one in?
I got one in.
That's the battle.
Yep. We can run with one, right? The other one's just a backup. We're on everywhere, yes. Now when I put this back on, be mindful of your belt routing. And it should have, in case yours is missing on an Astro van, here is the belt routing diagram for an 01. You get on this side, I'll go over here. I'll push that back as much as possible. Watch that. What?
Gotta get the hose up.
Your side's actually in. Alright, so then we need the bag and those little screws. Okay, the clamshell radiator shroud, I'm going to bolt back together, which is fun to get these lined up. There's 4 of these.
Where's the other big one? There's a nut there.
That was on the back of the alternator. And those other 3 bolt it to the front.
Okay.
the bolt to the radiator support. Start those loose. And that's like 90 degrees and 100% humidity, and we're going to get thunderstorms in a little bit. So Dad and I are trying to bust butt and get this back together. We're in the Midwest, so it wouldn't be bad if it weren't for the humidity. Yep, Ohio.
In case you don't know, we're in Ohio. This is the bitch.
On the other side of this thing, I think. Yeah.
Keep going that way. There you go.
They really want you to get this cable on here. I mean, it's so nice and user accessible. Okay, so what was happening this morning was our battery light on the dash here was just blinking on and off, and our charging was riding right in there between the 9 and 14, right at the barely not charging line. It was a drain. There we go. Still runs like crap. This thing needs injectors bad.
Yeah, I know.
But now we're charging again. Back up right below the 14, about 13.5, 13.8. And no battery light, so we're good. We're good. Well, we finished this one just in time. You can hear the thunder coming in. We're gonna get some serious storms tonight, supposedly. So that finishes up the alternator install in Mom's Astro van. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the worst, it's kind of a hard 2. It's really not that bad. No special tools. Got it past the clutch fan, no problem. Wiggle it around. The only thing you really need, you might not have, is a pry bar. So just to pop it out of there, not a big deal. Wouldn't want to do it alongside the road in the dark in a snowstorm, but in the driveway with everything here, no big deal. Having enough leverage to get the serpentine belt off is about the only bad thing. So it came right out of there. A little thumping around with the rubber mallet, and we were good to go. Expensive. I mean, I come from a world of $39 alternators, and that sucker was 200 bucks. That's kind of a shocker on newer stuff is anymore, just how expensive this stuff is. But it's doable. It's no big deal. Van's back on the road, charging great, and she's ready to roll. Mom's got her car back.